Great. I think that we're live and we are very excited to be here. We will give anyone who is a little behind in joining us a minute or two to get caught up and to get here with us. Today, if you're joining us live, we're very happy that you are here. My name is Fred Marroquin, and I'm in charge of marketing and sales here at Sippy. I've got the entire team of development and QA with us, and we'll be starting in just a minute. We'll do a formal introduction, and then we'll get going. We'll get everyone seated and ready in about a minute. So for now, get your popcorn and send your last email messages or whatever you're gonna do, because you're gonna want to pay attention 100% to what we're gonna share with you today. We're very excited. Okay, so we got Erkan here. We got Daniel from MegaCall. Good to have you guys here. Thanks for joining us. We're very excited. We got Momen. Yeah, so we've got a lot of information ready for you guys today. So I think we'll do a quick countdown and then we'll get started. So 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, and thanks very much for being with us today. My name is Fred Marroquin. As I said earlier, I am in charge of marketing and sales here at Sippy. We have today something very good that we've been waiting for, and then I know that many of you have been waiting for, and that's the launch of our Sippy 2022 version. We are very excited, and after today's webinar, you will be excited as well, because there's a lot of stuff that we put into the new version, and we are going to share all of that with you. We also want to let you know a few things that are coming up throughout the year. We've got some promotions to talk to you about. We've got an introduction of a new team member to make today. But for now, I'll do a quick introduction of who we've got here. We've got, first and foremost, our CEO, Maxim Sobolev, the all-around good guy, the Ayatollah of software development, the master of disaster when it comes to SIP, the one and only Maxim Sobolev. We also have Jeka Drachenko with us. He is a senior developer here with us. And we've got Philip Ma, who is our product manager and who has been with us for about 4 years, as long as a year or so before me. We've got Pavel Basel, who is sporting a great mullet, and he has been growing his hair for about almost a year now. So he is very excited to share some QA information with you, and we are excited to having him live from Ukraine. We have a new member of the team, Yusuke Kohatsu, who joined us a few months ago. We're very excited to have him on board, and we are going to let him say a few things towards the end of the webinar. For now, we welcome you once again. We're very happy that you're here. And I'm going to take you very briefly through the agenda that we've got today. So today, we'll have Max telling us about some of the improvements we've made along SRTP. He's going to tell us a little bit about the Goerline cluster. And he's going to mention a thing or two about SoftSwitch and Sippy PBX. Philip is going to tell us a little bit about the cloud backup solutions and some changes that we've made to DID regions on the SoftSwitch. Jack is going to talk about trunk enhancements and the new web framework. Pavel is going to talk about some of the improvements in the firewall. And Yusuke is going to tell us a little bit about some of the work that he's doing and some of the things that excite him about being here with us. Finally, at the end, I'll be telling you some of the commercial changes that we've made and some promotions that we've got coming up. And I'm going to just generally excite you about Sippy 2022. So for now, we'll let Max go ahead. Please, Max.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Fred, for the introduction. Yeah, let me share my screen here. Okay, it's my slides. Hopefully it comes up fine. So today I will talk a little bit about the work we done last year in the scope of Sippy 22 and some of the uh, important improvements that we made, not only on the product side, but also on the company side. So it will be a little bit like an overview of annual update that we want to share with you guys, and at the end you guys will be able to ask questions if any. So let's get started. So this is a little agenda. So I'll start with update on the company side. So as many of you know, if not all, the last year was quite challenging for us at Sippy due to the situation in Ukraine. The war started, and since more than half of our team is in Ukraine, it's been quite affecting us in a ways that we did not expect to. However, even though we did not expect and we did not plan for it, I think the team has been very proactive and very resilient. We've been able to deal with the situation, and even though there was quite a lot of disruption at the beginning, we're by the middle of the year we've managed to kind of get ourselves together and uh, adjust our practices to deal with the situation. As part of this, we managed to open a new support office, which is located in Latin America. So it basically allows us to not only provide backup for our support team in Ukraine, but also distribute the load between different time zones to serve our customers better and reduce the load on our Ukrainian team, which is quite important, especially in the current situation. So that is fully operational. We have engineers working for us for a few months already, and we're looking forward to expand it even further. Now, talking about the product itself, we've done quite a lot of work on various parts of the system. We did usual stack refresh. So basically we updated several key components to the latest versions. So there is now OS upgrade to FreeBSD 13. We also introduced support for Postgres SQL 14. We switched everything to Python 3.9. And we also upgraded Golang and PHP to the latest versions. There was also quite a lot of improvements, and we are not going to talk about all of them, but just some of the key points. We did add support for much needed DTLS and SRTP. It's been demand for this has been growing steadily in the latest several years due to WebRTC and related technologies being deployed in the field. So basically now SoftSwitch is capable to interoperate with those using the new DTLS SRTP support. As kind of as part of this work, we also improved our video calling support. So now with the SoftSwitch 2022, it will be much easier to support not only audio calling, which was always our priority, but also have support for video calls, various types of devices like cameras and soft phones with video support. Then another notable improvement is that we introduced new improved version of the RTP cluster, the component which allows you to externalize RTP and build your RTP processing to be scalable and also resilient. We already had this component, previous version of this component for several years, and it's been used by quite a few customers. However, we had quite many requests to make it faster. So this is what we've done, and now the new version should perform 5 to 10 times faster. So it should be able to support up to 1,000 CPS per system and many thousands, if not tens of thousands calls to match what our soft switch is capable of doing. And then last but not least, we did quite a lot of work on the stir shaking front, which we introduced in Sippy 2021 to further improve and extend it to match what industry is doing. And then, as I said, this is just very few key improvements. There will be guys will be talking about many more improvements, and there is also quite many of them that we're not going to cover today, but you can still access those using release information links to be posted by Philip and the team. So there are also two new products that we're working on right now, and which are going to be available this year. So there is a CP freight switch, and this is basically our new next generation version of the soft switch, which is geared towards high CPS and high capacity installation. It supports performance on performance side. It will give an operator much more call processing capacity per node. We're looking at 5 to 10 improvements of CPS per node, up to 1,000 or more CPS per node, and also what is more also important, it contains support for active clustering with the ability to geographically distribute processing nodes, essentially allowing one to build distributed system, globally distributed system out of SoftSwitch. It's coming together fine. Where we had a few staging deployments last year, and we're looking forward to make it available to our existing and new customers this year. Then there is also CP-PBX, and this is basically a modern hosted PBX that is designed to be first very easy to use for the end user, but also it is designed to be easy to deploy and manage from the operator perspective. So essentially, it will allow our customers to provide class 5 services to their customers by deploying those PBXs in addition to regular soft switches. It packed with all cool class 5 features like auto attendance, call distribution queues. It has support for call recording. There is operator console for managing calls, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's on the final stages of development and testing. And if anyone has any interest, you're more than welcome to reach out to Fred to arrange a demo and or evaluation of some sort. And yeah, I think that concludes my part. I will give it back to you, Fred.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks very much, Max. So as you can hear, we've made not only a number of improvements in the soft switch, on the technology behind the soft switch, but we've also essentially kept our word. Part of what Max and the team are always doing, well, Max always sets the priorities on the technical side for what the development should be, but the team is always involved in making sure that we make those improvements and that we stay ahead of the curve when it comes to making functionality available to you that will allow you to have a successful VoIP business. So yeah, we know that on Max's side, he's always attending conferences and trade shows where the latest in SIP and other related technology is not only discussed but experimented. The stuff that he's been involved with around security for stir shaken. I know that in the past we've made some publications available. We've also done some work with other companies to make improvements on what's done on the stir shaken side for security. And yeah, so we are constantly making making sure that our promises are kept and delivering on great functionality. For right now, I think we've got Philip, who is going to talk to us a little bit about cloud backup solutions, as well as the DID ranges changes on FreightSwitch. Go ahead, Philip.
Thanks, Fred. Just present my screen here. Before I get started in talking a bit about some of the new features that we have for Sippy SoftSwitch and FreightSwitch, I wanted to talk a little bit about what our development process looked like over the past a few months when we started our development cycle back at the end of May last year. Basically, we spent a bit of time working on bugs, improvements, and new features. Bugs are basically problems that we came across in either implementing new features that come up, get worked on. They might be problems that we've seen out there in the field too. And then improvements are existing features that need some slight improvement. So these might be performance type improvements. One example that comes off the top of my head, I think we did some invoicing improvements that sped up how quickly invoices were generated. And then we split some time off for some of the new features that we are talking a little bit about today. So that covers the bulk of some of the development type tasks that we cover. We tend to spend a little bit more time in terms of fixing problems that come up as a result of new development. You can't bake a cake without cracking a couple eggs. So Pavel's pretty good at identifying new problems for us to solve with some of the new features that we work on. And then our customers are really good at pointing out some improvements that we can make both to the software and how things process. So some of your feedback that you provide to our support team is really critical to help move our product forward. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and thank all our customers for giving us any feedback they have by way of support tickets that they send our way to take a look at. The first item I wanted to talk a little bit about today is a new feature that we worked out over the last development cycle. This is something readily available for customers that are sitting on our Sippy 2021 version and later. So if any of our customers that have a Sippy SoftSwitch deployed currently can make use out of this feature that we have. Cloud backups is a really good affordable disaster recovery option. So we do offer a full standby solution, both warm and cold versions of this. And it's all well and dandy, but it can be pretty expensive to purchase additional hardware for it. For your standby systems, or maybe the licensing cost is a little too cost prohibitive for you. So we wanted to create a new cost-effective solution that would allow our customers to store their data offsite and keep their business critical data safe. So we implemented a backup solution where your backups are automatically uploaded to Amazon S3 cloud storage servers. These are automatically generated, and they are automatically uploaded and stored securely for the time when you need them. We have some options where you could save these backups locally to disk, but there are some inherent problems with that. So if your data center gets hit by things like a flood or an earthquake or wildfire, all your core central data, business critical data, is still locally saved to that machine. We do have some solutions where you could upload these to an FTP server, but again, your FTP server might be stored locally within that data center, so you still have all your eggs in one basket. By uploading your data set to Amazon S3's cloud storage, it gives you a bigger platform to store your data to that's sort of replicated across multiple disks within Amazon's S3 cloud solution. And we could pull these backups down to restore and rebuild a new system at any given time. So this is a solution that's currently available to all our customers right now that are running Sippy 2021 and later. If you have any questions about this solution, Fred would love to hear from you, and he'll help guide you on getting set up with this new cloud backup solution. The next feature I wanted to talk a little bit about is something that we've worked on specifically for our Freight Switch build. This is one of the new features that we have implemented over the past year. This came about as a solution to a problem where our customers had a large block of DID ranges. We're talking hundreds of thousands, millions of DIDs that they needed to manage in our SoftSwitch. So to make our configuration a little bit easier for our customers, we've decided to implement a feature for DID ranges. This is a new feature just to our Freight Switch builds. We might look at moving this towards SoftSwitch later in the future once we're a little bit more further along with this feature. But it allows for simpler configurations for your large blocks of DID numbers. So you could easily have 100,000 block of DID numbers, and then you might want to assign specific sub-ranges out to each of the given accounts that you might have. So this is a bit of an example of how this DID range feature works. This is a smaller sub range, about 100 numbers, but this could scale up to 10,000 very easily, 100,000 very easily. Basically, if a call comes into the system where it doesn't match an assigned DID range, basically it returns a 404. But you could create small little slices of this larger DID range, and assign them out to a given account to be passed on to the trunks and connections downstream. So here you could have like a block of 5 numbers here, or a block of 10 numbers, all going to different trunks or different connections. So this should help ease your configuration load that you would have for your DID ranges, making them a little bit easier to manage instead of having like hundreds of thousands of configuration points. Now you could narrow that down and slim down that configuration quite substantially. Those are the 2 features I wanted to talk a little bit about today. I'll throw it back to Fred.
Okay, thank you, Philip. Thank you. That's very good information, and as you can see, if you're an existing customer, you'll see that a lot of this stuff that Philip and the team has developed into the software has been in our roadmap and is now starting to make its way into production. Philip, just a quick question from my end. In relation to previous versions that you have managed the team in developing, what has the newest version, Sippy 2022, been like in terms of not only the amount of effort, but the relative number of changes or improvements?
I think this development cycle, I think, was a little bit shorter, but I think we worked on some really high quality features that make a big impact to our customers. Definitely, I think the firewall changes that were implemented definitely greatly improves customer security, SoftSwitch security for the customers. And I think the multiple trunks thing that Jacques will talk a little bit about in a little bit are definitely some impactful changes. And even the media changes in the security sort of transmission protocols that Max was mentioning earlier are definitely all very, very good features to be worked on and included in the release.
Okay, great. Thank you. So as you heard me say earlier, Max sets the priorities for the team to develop the improvements inside the SoftSwitch. So one of the things that I've always emphasized, and I've always been very much cognizant of being here at Sippy, is that technology and the associated accuracy and level of high engineering that goes into the solutions is set as a priority by Max. So everything that the team does revolves around not just let's just do the latest trend in what's going on, or let's just do something that's flashy. Max sets the priorities based on things like security. SoftSwitch security for us is absolutely critical, and Max sets the priority on making sure that the SoftSwitch has as much security functions built into it, which is why we've made some improvements to the firewall. The other thing is, I've also said in the past that Max is very good about listening not only to customers, because we know that we're developing the SoftSwitch for you, but he also listens to the internal team on the commercial side. So we had previously received a number of requests for SRTP functionality for our media gateway. And, earlier this year, actually late last year, we started talking about the SRTP being made available. And earlier this year, we started started on the final stages of development, and now Max and the team have made that SRTP functionality available. So, from my perspective as an insider, this is something that is very true. The development work that takes place around security and around delivering functionality that we know that you require to have a successful business. SRTP goes perfectly along with the rest of the security features that are part of the SoftSwitch. So this is an ongoing battle, and Max and the team are very good about making sure that we're always on top of the game. Right now, I'm going to let Jekka say a few words about some of the trunk enhancement work that he has been working on, as well as some of the new web framework work that is done. Go ahead, Jekka.
Thank you, Fred. So, my name is Evgen Rechenko, and I'm a software engineer in Sippy software company. In this session, we will cover the main changes and new features added in Sippy 2022 release WebUI subsystem. What the new features are available? Let's check. Sorry. The first one I want to review are multiple trunk enhancements. As before, an account can have as many trunks as it register in the system. But before, trunk could have only two connections, like primary and secondary. So now trunk can have as many connections as required from the system owner. And the order of those trunk connections can be configured on the daemons of the owner of the system. Also, all the management of the trunk and trunk connections are supported by our XML API. As before, the trunk management UI is available via additional options menu on accounts page. Once the corresponding menu item is selected, the new web UI is opened. You can create a new trunk or edit an existing trunk configuration, and so on. Here is a small video, a small short clip showing simple manipulation with trunk configuration. As you see now, an editing of connection is performing, so you can reorder the connections, you can add new connections, filling in the form, passing the parameters of the connections. The parameters are grouped and placed on different tabs by the logical grouping, and so on. So you can again reorder them and save the trunk itself. Adding the ability to manage trunks and trunk connections via API will allow you to better integrate them with your existing business systems. You will be able to create, modify, read, or delete any of the trunk or trunk connections through the API methods. Documentation can be found following the provided link. While working on web UI for trunks and trunk connections, it was decided to use modern frameworks instead of simple but little bit outdated existing approaches. They are Vue.js and based on Vue.js Vuetify frameworks. The updated UI will be eventually used on other pages to manage Sippy software, Sippy SoftSwitch software. That's basically all what I wanted to show. Fred, you move.
Thank you, Jekka. That's great information. I know that Jack has spent a considerable amount of time making sure that these changes make their way not only to the freight switch but eventually onto to the main soft switch. And Jack has spent a great deal of his time working with Philip and the rest of the team on these improvements. I know that the mapping out of all this functionality takes place over a considerable amount of time. So thanks very much for all your hard work there, Jekka. We're very happy to have you and all the work you do. Next up, we've got Pavel, who is going to tell us a little bit about the firewall improvements that are going to be part of Sippy 2022. Pavel is a great guy, and he has a great set of hair. Go ahead, Pavel.
Thank you, Fred. Hello, everyone. My name is Pavel Busil. I'm QA engineer in Sippy. And today I'm going to show some new things that we were doing around the firewall improvement. So the first thing here is what actually is the firewall. It's a sort of a network feature or device that allows switch operator to secure their system. To make it short, it is sort of a barrier between some new connections to the SoftSwitch and to SoftSwitch itself. So it performs the filtering of incoming connections and passes to the product only authenticated users, authenticated customers. And it is performed based on source IP address, of course. So it has been the part of the CP for a quite long time, for years, and the improvements that we did is expected to meet the expectations of the customers who were looking for some faster firewall operation for high load, for high CPS. Basically, the next slide I'm sharing could seem a little bit too technical, but I was trying to make it as detailed as possible for any customer to understand what was before, like the old behavior, and all those arrows are showing the whole path of firewall recognition. So for the old behavior, before we match the packet, we have to walk through all the list of IP addresses that are in firewall list. The new behavior now supports the grouping of those IPs based on the protocol. For example, if it is SIP TCP traffic, we don't need to look through the SIP TLS, SIP TCP HTTP, or SIP UDP. We jump straight to the section of SIP TCP, which actually speeds up the whole processing of network packet. And to make it even more precise, so this is the best example of matching against the same dataset. So for the old behavior, we have to crawl through 12 different rules. And for the new behavior, all we have to do is just to check 6 rules. As you can see, the more firewall rules you have, the bigger difference would be, and the new behavior could be like 10 times faster, 20 times faster, and so on. So the main idea here is not to look through the firewall rules that are not related to this particular network packet. Any questions? Ball to Fred.
Thanks, Pavel. So Pavel not only works on the QA side of Sippy, but as you can see, being on the QA side, he has his hands as well on some of the direction in terms of working with the team to map out the work that gets done and to make sure that the work that gets done is in line with best practices on the QA side, to make sure that we've got not only a secure switch, but that we've got a switch that is stable and that is robust, so that it's not easily taken down. So Pavel is a very knowledgeable person. Thanks, Pavel. We'll have some questions for you at the end of the presentation here. I know that there will be some. Right now, I'm going to let, I believe, Philip, you want to introduce Yusuke to the audience? Go ahead.
Yeah, just a brief thing. We added Yusuke about just about 2.5 months ago to our development team, but I'll throw it out to him to tell our audience today a little bit about himself, some stuff that he wants to learn with us in his time with Sippy, and some of the early projects that we've given him to work on.
Go ahead, Yusuke.
Okay, let me share my screen. So thank you for making time for my introduction. My name is Yusuke. I'm a backend developer at Sippy Software. I'm going to be starting off with my brief background. And my journey in the professional field as a developer began a couple of years ago. My tech stack are mostly around full stack development. I'm comfortable with like Python, Node.js, and TypeScript. I also had opportunity to work on iOS development and a bit of DevOps and QA tasks. But I was interested in backend development the most, so I'm glad that I can focus on the work in this position. So what I want to learn, now that I'm in the part of the development team in Vancouver, I have a couple things I'd like to learn in this position. For the development part, I'll be more involved in Golang and database manipulation in the future. So these are essential skills that I'd like to improve for me. I'm new to this field, and understanding of SIP protocol more is a necessity for a success. So I'll familiarize myself with this protocol. So these are the tasks that I'm currently working on. I've been working on mostly bug fix and some functional enhancement, improve the software reliability. Each task gives me a lot of opportunity to improve my developmental skills and gives me a new information in this industry. So I will go forward with contributing to the software more and helping Sippy Software keep momentum going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Back to you, Fred.
Okay, thank you, Yusuke. So Yusuke is a junior developer, and he's a great guy. I know that he has already made a number of contributions to the team. We're very happy to have him here, and very excited to be part of his journey starting out. Now it's my turn to tell you a little bit about some of the commercial changes and improvements that we are making for this year's version. So in past, I've talked about some of the things that I'm going to highlight today. I know that a little earlier, Philip talked about the backups, the AWS backups option that we've got. We're always thinking of new ways to improve our product offering. And the Max is, as I mentioned earlier, very good about setting priorities on the team that are not only focused on the technical, heavily focused on the technical they are, but they are also cognizant and taking into account the commercial requirements. So in light of that, we developed the AWS backups, as some of you guys have already taken advantage of those products. I've got a few things to go through. So we are going to launch a promotion for our Sippy 2022 version. And essentially, this is a great time to buy if you're joining us and you're not an existing customer already. So we've got a few promotions that we've come up with. If you buy a single license, of the Sippy 2022 version, you'll get 35% off the second license. So we're making it possible for you, perhaps, and a sister company to get a SoftSwitch and get a large discount on the second license. So this is something that if you know of a company that is interested in a SoftSwitch, it's probably a good time to get them encouraged to buy. This is something that we're going to do for the launch of our Sippy 2022 version. If you are looking to rent a license, we always have questions from prospects and people that want to buy the Switch or rent the Switch about discounts. So we do offer discounts, but for us, the discounts do need to be related to a large number of purchases, or at least a multiple number of rentals. So in this case, we have come up with an option for renting and getting a discount, which if you rent 4 months and you pay for those 4 months in advance, you'll get 25% off each month. So essentially that equates to having a free month of hosting on our AWS platform. So that is a very good deal. If you know someone that is currently looking for a SoftSwitch and wants to rent one, please be sure to tell them all about it. These offers will be available for the next couple of months. While we launch the new version. As well, on the discount side, we are always making discount offers to anyone who wants to pay for support in advance. So in light of that, we've come up with an offer for purchasing a license and getting extra years of support with your purchase of the license. So typically, if you purchase a license, you get 1 year of support included as part of your purchase. This, with the launch of Sippy 2022, we've produced this offer which will allow you to have 3 years of support for, if you're buying 2,000 channels of capacity for $10,250. Essentially, you would get 3 years of support altogether at only the price of an additional year. So typically support costs $1,900 a year. So if you buy 2,000 channels and you pay for $10,250, you'll get 3 years of support. So it's essentially like getting a free year of support. We're encouraging you to pay for support because we know the value of having our team behind you to make sure that the promises you make to your customers of stability on the SoftSwitch, of making sure that any issue that comes up with the SoftSwitch that is quickly addressed. When you have support, you have our team by your side, and we make sure that everything goes well with your Switch. So this offer will be valid until July 31st of this year. Take advantage of this if you're looking to buy a new SoftSwitch, because, like I said, it's having an additional year of support at no cost. With support, you get all standard updates and upgrades for every year that we make these that you're supported, and we make sure that these updates and these upgrades are very valuable. As you're going to see, and that you've seen in some of the previous slides and the discussion that the team has had, we are making improvements constantly. So here's a direct quote from our fearless leader, Max. And he said, "We have raised the price of Sippy 2022 by a very small amount. But this should mean to anyone who owns a license that the value of their license and support agreement is even greater." So to give you a sense of the value that we deliver, not only with the support agreement that you purchase every year when you're supported, those of you who have a license and who pay your support agreement have, by the very virtue of paying support, the ability to get all the updates and upgrades that the team has made and that we have announced here today. Those are all included in your support payment. So in doing that, and in slightly raising the price of the new version of our SoftSwitch, we're making sure that the $1,900 that you pay every year has added value. because in this market, in this economy, we are making sure that the value that you get is not only to the SoftSwitch that you're currently paying support for, but also to make sure that anybody getting into the business, that anybody buying a new license has already something invested in getting that license. We're making the field a little bit more competitive. We know that the field already is a little bit more competitive, but we're making you as a customer, as a support paying customer, a little bit more rewarded by making sure that not everybody will have easily a Sippy SoftSwitch license. We're making sure that there's value in the SoftSwitch and the support that you already do have. So along the discount side, we are also offering discounts for any customer who wants to pay for support in advance. As I said, having support by your side, it's a small fee every year. And having that small fee and paying that small fee will allow you and the value of your SoftSwitch to be higher, especially if there is an increase in the cost to the SoftSwitch, because we're making sure that the value to you every year is greater. Included in our support packages, in our standard support packages, we have provisioning, onboarding, as well as all standard updates and upgrades that we make to the SoftSwitch. If you want to have hosted SoftSwitch, that SoftSwitch comes already with guaranteed support, standard support. So we deliver standard support to all our hosted customers. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have some offers taking place for encouraging your friends or customers to rent a license. If you do not pay for support on an annual basis, we offer per ticket support, and this offers some advantages, including you can pay as you go. There's no expiration on the number of tickets that we provide. If you buy a package of 5 tickets, you pay $900, and there's no expiry. If you only use 1 ticket every year, then essentially you can have 5 tickets in 5 years and only pay $900. The more of these per ticket support bundles that you pay, the higher the value. So if you do not want to pay support, or if you cannot pay support for whatever reason, you'd still be able to make sure that you've got our support team behind you. As I mentioned before, having a technical team as strong as our team is very important, and it does deliver a lot of business value to you and to your customers. We've talked about support tiers in the past. We've introduced professional and enterprise support. I just wanted to touch on these very briefly to remind you that these are available. Standard support has a finite list of the number of things that are covered under it. We deliver to many customers, particularly in Australia, professional and enterprise support to make sure that they've got options which don't get covered under standard support. So if you do want to know a little bit more about professional and enterprise support, I would encourage you to talk to me about them. Email me. We make sure that you've got options to have more from our technical team. So please do contact us. Freight switch. Max touched on the freight switch a little bit back. We have posted some new pricing for freight switch, so the licenses will be ready for provisioning towards the middle or the end of this year. So we are going to be perhaps changing some pricing to make it more interesting and more palatable for some of you who are interested in the freight switch. I do have questions on a regular basis about the size of licenses that can be provisioned for the freight switch. At this point, we are only provisioning 20,000. We're only going to be provisioning freight switch licenses higher than 20,000 channels in capacity and 300 CPS. So if you are interested, by all means, please let's start the conversation. And when we are ready to start provisioning licenses, you can be one of the first to take advantage of that. AWS, we have increased the prices on AWS, and we are announcing that as of today. One of the things that we're also announcing is that we have now the ability to provision a SoftSwitch on your account on AWS. So we have now the option available for you if you want to provision a SoftSwitch on your own AWS account. I know that Max and the team has worked hard to make this happen, and if you are interested on provisioning a SoftSwitch on your own AWS infrastructure, on your own AWS account, you can talk to us about it. We're very happy to continue to grow our AWS presence. So from my part, on the commercial side, that is pretty much it. If you do have any questions, we're ready to take them. I know that Jeka is very eager and Pavel is very eager to take some questions. So with that, I'm going to start reading some of the questions on here. I've got Ferry. Hi, Ferry. Ferry has a question, says, let's see. Daniel, actually, I'll start with Daniel because this question is first. Will the quality control call stats be added to monitor per accounts instead of per vendors connections at some point? I think this is a question that Philip, maybe you can answer, or Max.
Yeah, I can try. Well, obviously, always looking at improving various parts of the system. So if this feature makes sense, there's definitely something we can put into our development plans. So I guess the best way to address it, Daniel, is to open a ticket issue with our support team, and we'll triage it and get back to you with probably more questions or some implementation plan.
Great. Thanks very much, Max. Okay, so if you do have more questions about that, Ferry, as you know, you do have. Sorry, Daniel. As you know, you can email me directly. We can set up an online meeting and we can have a discussion about this. Ferry's got a question. His question is: did you guys ever consider integration with SIP Link? I'm guessing that's SIP Link. Perhaps as an example.
I think it's Splunk is what he.
I'm going blind and the letters on here are very small. So sorry, go ahead. Did you want to answer that, Philip?
Splunk's an interesting application. I've used it before I joined Sippy. It's definitely something worth looking into. I don't think I've seen that request come through our support desk yet. But I know Splunk is a pretty powerful tool to help debug and troubleshoot through logs and data aggregation. So might be interesting to look at.
Great. Thank you. Ferry, if you want to discuss that further, you can email me, and I do believe that you've got access to other team members as well. So if you want to talk to us, we're very happy. I've got a question here from Simon Jerome. I believe he's in France. So his question is, are there any failover options for AWS hosted? And I'm very happy, Simon, to let you know that I've been pushing for this as an option for about a year. And I have spoken with Max recently, and he has confirmed that we are working on this and that this should be available shortly. Max, if you want to say a couple of things about this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Fred. Yes, indeed, we would like to add at least standby support, hot standby support to be available on AWS this year. But also, I should also note perhaps that AWS itself has some features that are not exactly to remove the need to have this backup solution. But for example, with the snapshots, with periodical snapshots on AWS, you can have sort of running running backup. So in case of some catastrophic failure, having those snapshots would be able to basically you to recreate the instance in different location or in the same location, different different hardware. So there are some mitigations already possible, but yes, we're definitely looking at having more like regular standby option available on AWS. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Max. Yeah, so if you do have more questions, if you want to talk about that further, by all means, Simone, you can talk to me directly. And I apologize, you're not in France, you're in the UK. We've got a comment here from Claude. Claude is a great guy, and he's saying, thank you for all your work. I really enjoy the reliability of Sippy. So thank you, Claude, for that comment. I've got another question here from, let's see, from Ivan. He says, hi, thanks for the new version. Any news about call recording feature? And this is another one that we talked about just recently. I know that if you're talking about legal intercept, this is something that is, I believe, in the roadmap. We have talked about it internally because we have had a few requests about it. Philip, perhaps you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, we've done some initial looks at call recording. There's going to be some work in trying to manage, who could, what calls get recorded, how they get recorded, how they're stored. So we have done some initial speculative work around call recording. Maybe it's a feature we see in the next one, but we have taken a quick look at it, and it is sitting on our roadmap.
Okay, and I think Max wants to say something. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, thanks. In terms of call recording, well, we're getting asked this pretty often, so this is definitely something that that is on our drawing board. The main issue for us is to make sure that it's manageable, because with the amount of traffic, we're possibly looking at like systems we should be able to manage a few terabytes, if not tens of terabytes of data per month. So essentially, this is probably the biggest concern for us to make it manageable. So one of the idea we have for the next year, perhaps to have this call recording as a similar option to the cloud backup. So instead of trying to invent some way to manage those recording as part of the Sippy SoftSwitch system, we would have a module which would allow you to take those recording and upload them to something like AWS S3, and that should basically alleviate some of those concerns. Because on the technical level, it's not too difficult. Like if you look at just SIP part is pretty doable, but the management part is kind of hard. So we perhaps take this road. So definitely keep in touch with us. We'll be looking at some of the early deployments for that feature.
Thank you, Max. So we do have a couple more questions here. We've got a couple more minutes to take questions. I do have a question here from Shani, who is asking about geo redundancy, and also Ferry, who's asking, Erkan, who's asking about FreightSwitch. So Shani, FreightSwitch is our product that's going to be available for geo redundancy. As I believe we might have said earlier, it's not a product that is ready for provisioning yet. We have a couple of customers who are starting to do some beta with us on that, and it's a product that's going to be ready for launch. We're hoping towards the middle of the year, closer to perhaps towards quarter 4 of 2023, so this year. Um, let me see if I've got another question here. I've got a question from Shabi Abbas who says, in the report section, hourly report extraction in one go available. So do we have a report in the report section, an hourly report for extraction? Philip?
You can generate those reports manually, but I don't think we have some automated script that's done. I know we've talked a little bit internally about setting up reports so that they're automatically scheduled and emailed off to you. Some of those reports can be done like that, but definitely something worth looking at and including as a feature. So I'm taking notes, not just on this, but all the feature requests that are coming in for us too. So we'll be filing some tickets shortly after this webinar too. So feel free, drop whatever you like.
Okay, thank you, Philip. Pavel, I believe, has something he wants to share. Go ahead, Pavel.
Yep, so with regards to that hourly reports request, we basically support the flat file CDRs output. So those CDRs are offloaded to some external system of the customer, and you are able to perform any CDR manipulation you do at any particular rate you need to. So you need to parse those files, of course, but we can kind of perform the offload of those files like every 1 minute, every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or at any rate that is needed. So analyzing of files is on the customer side in that case. It is already a feature that is available to all clients, I believe, except for some hosted solutions.
Awesome. Thank you, Pavel. So as you know, and if you've been with us as a customer for a while, if you do have a particular business requirement that you think is useful to have on the SoftSwitch, our team is very good about making sure that we take requests from you and develop those features into the SoftSwitch. SRTP is one, while it's a big part of functionality. It is the type of thing that helps us set priorities. So the more people that we get asking us to develop a particular feature, the more we know. And the more that we agree that is going to be a particular feature of benefit to most customers. So if you do have a feature that you want to have developed, ask us about it. We'll note it. And I always share those feature requests with Philip and the team. And the more requests we get, the more likely that request is going to be developed. So by all means, if there are other features that you want to have developed on the SoftSwitch, ask us about it, and we are very good about working with you on those requirements. We've got a question here from Jerry Tan, and he's asking, we're only going to take a couple more here. Jerry's saying, we have the ability to do local stir shake and processing. Do we have the ability to do local stir shake and processing? Max, go ahead.
Yes, I believe the answer to this is yes. There are basically two ways to do stir shaking in the Sippy SoftSwitch currently. One way is to use some kind of external partner. We have some agreements with a company called One Call Connect, and in that case, the Sippy SoftSwitch simply for each invite that is going to send to vendor, it will also contact that stir shaking provider to either do verification or which means check the existing the provided identity and figure out if it's what kind of attestation level is there, if any, or do authentication is basically when we get a call from like desk phone and we need to attach identity to it. So that's one way to do it. Another way, what we call local DB stir shaking connector, and that one is exactly works as Gary has mentioned. In this case, you upload your own private and public key and certificate into the database, and then the SoftSwitch will be able to basically do authentication or verification fully locally without contacting anyone else for that. And I believe Pavel could correct me if I'm wrong, but both of those options are available as part of CP 2022, and I think maybe even CP 2021, right, Pavel?
2022, of course. However, the management so far is available only via XML API. So we are currently in the process of refactoring that stuff and in the process of addition web UI and drafting documentation for the customers who want to use it. It is production ready. It's been in 2021 as far as I recall, but it lacks some user-friendly web UI. However, it is fully configurable over XML API, as I said.
Awesome. Thank you, Pavel. Thank you, Max. So I don't think that there are any further questions on here, and we have gone just a little bit over the allotted time that we had. We do want to thank you for being here today. As Max said earlier, this has been a difficult year, difficult couple of years all around the world. For us, having a team in the Ukraine has been difficult because of the situation they're facing. But Sippy is a very resilient company, and the team that we have is a very strong team. And as anyone who is a current customer knows, we are making sure at all times that we deliver on the best software that we can make available to you. And our team is stronger and stronger every day. We've got a team in Latin America that is helping us keep support always on time and always working hard. And we are adding more members to the team constantly to make sure, as Yusuke being part of the team now is evidence to, we are always making sure that we've got a strong team, and we are resilient. We are with the people of Ukraine. We wish them all very well. We know that everything's going to be fine. And also our partners, Sintel in Turkey, we regret very much the earthquake, and we hope that you recover very soon. We are with you, just like you have been with us for so long. We are happy to continue to work with you. We know that you're going to be up and running with the strength, the Turkish strength at all times, always going forward. On our side, we're very happy that you joined us. We're very happy that you've stayed with us for the hour and for as long as you have as customers. We continue to work hard for you, and we hope to see you again during our next webinar. For everybody here at Sippy, we thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Yep, sounds fun. I just wanted to add that I'm really grateful to CP team, who's been doing very good last year despite all the challenges. And yeah, I just add to I'm sorry, very sorry. We're also very sorry to our Turkish friends, and it's just horrible things. And we will definitely try to help you guys if you need anything. Let us know, like discounts or whatever. Like yeah.
Great. Thanks, Max. So on behalf of Max and the rest of the team, we thank you for being here. Join us again next time.